The Galactic Institute of Advanced Learning floated serenely in the void between stars, a massive station housing the brightest minds from 100 worlds. Within its crystalline corridors, species from across known space mingled, learning the ancient arts of diplomacy, science, and culture. It was supposed to be a place of enlightenment. Banks had never expected to meet anyone like Asha. The human girl sat alone in the back of the xenobiology lecture hall, her dark eyes scanning a datapad while Professor Krelix droned on about atmospheric composition requirements. She was small by most species standards, barely reaching the thorax of the average Zenthari student, but there was something about the way she held herself that made Banks curious. "That's the Deathworlder," whispered his classmate Vex, a Talarian with iridescent scales that shimmered nervously. "From Earth." Banks, a Zenthari youth with 4 articulated arms and compound eyes, found such claims difficult to believe. Humans looked so fragile. How could they possibly come from a world more dangerous than the toxic swamps of Talaria or the crushing gravity wells of Zenthros? He would learn soon enough. The trouble started 3 cycles later in the recreational commons. A group of Korthian students, massive beings of muscle and chitin, each standing over 3 meters tall, had decided that the human girl made an easy target. Their kind valued strength above all else, and they saw Asha's size as an insult to the Institute's standards. "Little creature," rumbled Thorak, the largest of them, his 4 eyes gleaming with malicious amusement. "You should not be here." Banks watched from across the commons, his translator picking up every word. He should have walked away. The Korthians were notorious bullies, and interfering would only paint a target on his own back. But something made him stay. Asha looked up from her meal, her expression unreadable. Thorak laughed, a sound like grinding stone. He reached down with one massive claw and flipped her tray, sending food scattering across the floor. "Deathworlders should know their place. Your planet may be dangerous, but you?" What happened next would be discussed in hushed tones for cycles to come. Asha stood slowly, and Banks noticed something he'd missed before. The controlled way she moved, the absolute economy of motion. When she spoke, her voice was quiet, almost gentle. "3 times what you're used to, Thorak. Our atmosphere has oxygen levels that would make you euphoric and careless. We evolved alongside pack hunters with night vision and bite forces that could crush bone. We survived ice ages, supervolcanoes, and asteroid impacts." She paused, and Banks saw something flicker in her eyes, something ancient and primal. Thorak roared and swung one massive fist toward her head. It was a blow that would have shattered a Talarian's skull or sent a Zenthari flying across the room. Asha wasn't there. She'd moved, so fast that Banks's compound eyes barely tracked it, and suddenly she was inside Thorak's guard. Her elbow drove up into a joint in his exoskeleton, and the Korthian's bellow turned into a shriek of pain. She flowed like water, using his own momentum against him, and 3 seconds later, the massive alien was face down on the floor with Asha's knee on his back and his arm twisted at an angle that made Banks wince. The commons had gone deathly silent. Even Thorak's friends stood frozen, unsure whether to intervene. Asha asked, I yield," Thorak gasped. She released him immediately and stepped back, offering him a hand up. When he didn't take it, she shrugged and returned to her table, calmly ordering a new meal from the dispenser as if nothing had happened. Banks found himself sitting across from her the next cycle, his curiosity overcoming his caution. "That move you used," he said without preamble, "the joint lock." Asha looked up, surprised. Most students had been avoiding her since the incident. "Study," she said simply. "I downloaded the complete anatomical database for every species at the Institute before I arrived." She took a bite of her food, something with far more protein than most species could tolerate. "Where I come from, knowledge is survival." Banks's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. It is, Asha agreed. It's beautiful, too. Deadly hurricanes that paint the sky in colors you've never seen. Oceans so deep and dark that we've barely explored them. Mountains that reach above the clouds. Everything there is trying to kill you. But that's what makes life precious. Is that why you came here? She smiled, and it was a predator's smile, not threatening but acknowledging a shared understanding. I came here to learn. Earth taught me how to survive. Over the following cycles, Banks and Asha became unlikely friends. She taught him about Earth, about creatures called sharks and lions, about storms called tornadoes and hurricanes, about a star that could burn unprotected skin in minutes. He taught her about Zenthari philosophy, about seeing the universe through compound eyes, about the poetry of his people. The other students learned to give Asha respect, not out of fear, but out of understanding. She wasn't just a survivor from a death world. She was proof that the most dangerous thing about humanity wasn't their planet. It was their refusal to let it break them. Banks watched her during combat training one cycle, moving with that same fluid grace that had defeated Thorak. But now he saw it differently. Every movement was efficient, purposeful, honed by millions of years of evolution on a world that demanded excellence or extinction. Your people are terrifying, he told her after class. Asha laughed, the sound bright and genuine. We're also loyal, curious, creative, and stubborn beyond reason. As they walked together through the corridors of the Institute, the girl from the death world and the boy from the stars, Banks realized something profound. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their adaptability or their tenacity. It was their ability to make friends anywhere, even in the cold dark between the stars. And perhaps, he thought, that was the most terrifying thing of all.